Hello students. Now today I am going by continuing the chapter number 8. Today we will do from page number 136, that is suspension, solution, suspension and colloids. Okay, so these are the types of solutions, right? Now the solution, what are solution? You know, solution here we also call them, this type of solution are called true solution. You can also write it is as true solution. Okay, so what is true solution? It's a homogeneous mixture of two or more substances which completely dissolve in a solvent, and the size of the particles is less than 10 to the power minus 9 meter. Size of particle is here is 10 to the power 9 minus 9 meter. Very small in size, we cannot see with our naked eye, cannot be seen with our naked eye. Okay, so which is a very homogeneous always, it is they are always homogeneous. Okay, they are homogeneous also, and the size of the particle is 10 to the power minus 9 meter. So since it is a homogeneous, so the solutes cannot be separated by physical method, by filtration or sedimentation and decantation. So to separate these components of true solution, only we can follow the process of distillation. Distillation process can be followed. Okay, now the Tyndall effect. What is Tyndall effect? Tyndall effect is a process by which when a ray of light passes through a solution, it may show some scattering and it does not show the scattering of light. It means it passed through the solution directly, so it is called Tyndall effect. So it is a scattering of light being passes through the colloids when the light is in a solution shows. So true solution does not show Tyndall effects. Okay, it does not show any Tyndall effect. So these are the four properties of the true solution, whose size of the particle is homogeneous in nature. The size of this particle of solute is 10 to the power minus 9 meter. It can be separated by the process of distillation only, and it does not show any Tyndall effects. Next is the suspension. Suspension is also a heterogeneous mixture whose size of the particle is about 10 to the power minus 6 meter. It is heterogeneous. Okay, it is heterogeneous. Since it is heterogeneous, so the particles of the size can be seen with the naked eye, and the particles solute particles can be separated by sometimes sedimentation and decantation. It can be separated by sedimentation, filtration and decantation. Okay, so we can follow here filtration process. So mainly we follow here filtration process. It also does not show any Tyndall effects. Does not shows Tyndall effects. Okay. Next we move to the suspension. Here in the it is a colloidal, I said. I made a mistake here. It is, I have explained the suspension first. Suspension. Here it will be suspension. After that colloids. Here we will write the colloids. So suspension. In the suspension, the particle size is 10 to the power minus 6 meter. It is heterogeneous in nature. Mixture. If the components can be separated by the process of filtration, and it also does not show any Tyndall effect. It does not show any Tyndall effects. Now next is the colloidal. Here the particle size is much more than bigger than this true solution, and the suspension. It is also heterogeneous in nature. So the solute particle size varies from 10 to the power 10,000 angstrom size. Size is 10 or 10 to the power angstrom size. Or we can say it is 10 to the power approx minus 4 meter. Near about 10 to the power minus 4 meter is the particle of size. And here also it is heterogeneous. Okay. Here the colloidal particles can be settled down by, so it can be separated. We can follow here sedimentation, decantation and filtration all. So here we can follow sedimentation, decantation and also filtration process for the separation of solute particles from the colloidal solution. Okay, and it shows Tyndall effects. It shows Tyndall effect means when light passes through this solution, it does not pass goes straight. It scattered after the passing of light. Okay, so these are the three types of solution, that is true solution, suspension and colloid. So by these properties of particle size, then appearance, this process of separation and Tyndall effect, we can have the we can differentiate between true solution, suspension and colloid. Now we will see some examples of these three types of solution. For example, if you say for a true solution, here the solid particles are very fine, you cannot see with them. So we can say the solution of salt and sugar. Example, solution of salt or sugar in water. Okay, solution of salt or sugar in water. Next is the suspension. Here the particle size is much bigger than that of the particle size of true solution. Here we can have the examples of suppose example, when you mix up with some, it is given in your book, cold creams, shampoo, etc. They are the suspension particles. Next is the colloidal solution. In these types of solution, particles size are very much bigger. So we can say sand and water. For example, mixture of sand and water, mud and water, etc. Chalk powder and water. So there are so many examples of colloidal solution also. So these are the examples and the difference between the three types of solution, that is true solution, suspension and colloidal. Okay students. Next point is water of crystallization. What is water of crystallization? As you know, the water of crystallization is the process by which we can separate sugar from the sugar solutions also. You have already known what is actually the crystallization process is. So we will discuss it here. Water of crystallization. Next point topic is our water of crystallization. Water of crystallization. What is this process? Water of crystallization. Water of crystallization is the crystallization or water of hydration is the water that is present in some of the chemical compounds which are in crystalline state. Means water that are present in some chemical compounds, they are in crystalline state. Means water crystalline means in some particular geometrical shapes. Water is often necessary for the formation of crystals. It is a fixed number of water molecules that are responsible for unique shape and well as the color of the crystals also. Classically, water of crystallization refers to both water that is found in crystalline framework in a chemical compounds. In so many chemical compounds are there where you can find the crystals of water. So generally in salt it does not directly bonded to the metal cations. It held loosely with the crystals and represented with a dot next to the chemical formula. You can take any salt and water of crystals, you can represent it by putting a dot. Okay, so number of crystals that are water form can be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is mono, di, tri, tetra, penta, hexa, hepta, octa, nona, etc. up to deca, 10. And 10 is also called hydrated also. Hydrate. So few examples of water of crystallization. For example, CuSO4.5H2O. That means it is copper sulfate pentahydrate. It is also called blue vitriol. Its common name is blue vitriol. Okay, and common name chemical name is copper sulfate pentahydrate. Okay, next example is Na2CO3. Na2CO3 dot 10H2O. 10H2O. So what is it? Is sodium carbonate decahydrate. It is sodium carbonate decahydrate. It is also called as washing soda. It is also a washing soda. So you have to remember the chemical name, the formula, then chemical name and the common name, all the three, because it may come in your exam also. Another is FeSO4. FeSO4 dot 7H2O. That means ferrous. It is ferrous sulfate heptahydrated. Ferrous sulfate heptahydrate. It is also called green vitriol. It is also called green vitriol. So there are so many examples given in your book. That after that is sodium sulfate decahydrated, that is globular salts. After that magnesium sulfate heptahydrated, that is called Epsom salt. And ZnSO4 7H2O, that is zinc sulfate heptahydrated. It is also called white vitriol. So many examples are there of water of crystallization. So crystal of the different salt contain salt and water combines in a definite proportion, means crystals are different state, that in a salt which contains salt and water chemically combined together in a different proportion. As the molecule of water crystals are very loosely held, they are lost even on heating. So when you heat them, they can easily lose this water of crystals. So salt containing the water of crystals are known as hydrated salts. So all the water of crystallization salts that contain water molecules, they are also called hydrated salt. So they are also called hydrated salt. Hydrated salts. They are also called as, because they contain water molecules in them, they are called hydrated salts. So on heating, when they lose water, when on heating, so if you heat copper sulfate hydrate, you will get CuSO4. After that you will get Na2CO3 just, then FeSO4 like this, then ZnSO4. So when the water molecules does not present in them, at that time they are called anhydrous salt. They are called anhydrous salt. They are also called anhydrous salt. If they contain water molecules, they are called hydrated salt, and if they does not contain any water of molecules crystallized, they are called anhydrous salt. So similarly, there are so many examples are there. After that, hygroscopic substances. What are hygroscopic substances? Some substances absorb water, moisture from air, but not enough to form solution. They absorb water or moisture from the atmosphere, but they does not form any solution. These are called hygroscopic substances. Next is hygroscopic. So what are hygroscopic substances? The substances which absorb water or moisture from the air but does not form solution. So they absorb water or moisture from the air but does not form solution. Okay, they absorb water and moisture from the atmosphere but does not form solution. That type of substances are hygroscopic substances. And the phenomenon of absorbing moisture from the atmosphere, it is called, the process is called hygroscopy, and the process is called, the phenomenon is called here hygroscopy. So if you have already seen in your daily life some common salt and sugar at your home, in the rainy season they become like slightly it does not flow easily through the salt containers also. So they absorb moisture from the atmosphere. So that type of phenomenon, they can say these are hygroscopic substances. Okay, so some common example of hygroscopic substances are CaO, example calcium oxide, then conc H2SO4, conc H2SO4. So if you have seen the conc H2SO4, you will see that some water droplets are formed around the container in which they are kept. Okay, so anhydrous copper calcium chloride is also there, anhydrous copper sulfate. So many examples are there. anhydrous copper sulfate, anhydrous calcium chloride, anhydrous ferrous sulfate, anhydrous. So all the example that we have seen in the previous part of the chapter, that is water of crystallization without water. So all our anhydrous salts are hygroscopic substances. Okay. So hygroscopic anhydrous calcium chloride is also used as drying agent, means they take moisture from the substances which contain water in them. Okay. Next point is the deliquescence. So silica gel is another type of drying agent. They are called drying agent. Okay. Next is deliquescent substance. Deliquescent substance. Deliquescent. Deliquescent substances. So what are deliquescent substances? The substances which absorb sufficient amount of moisture to form an aqueous solution. That means absorb, here they absorb water moisture but does not form solution. But here deliquescent substance absorb water and moisture, but side by side they and form solution. Then they are called as deliquescent substances. So many examples are there. For example, NaOH, example, sodium hydroxide, then calcium chloride .6H2O. Other examples are P4O10, FeCl3, potassium hydroxide, and magnesium chloride are the example of deliquescent substances. So we must observe that in rainy season salt becomes sticky and change into solution when left open. And the reason is sodium chloride itself is a non-deliquescent, but the magnesium chloride salt present in a table salt is a deliquescent. Okay, so it absorbs moisture from the atmosphere and convert the salt into a solution. So free flowing table salt does not contain magnesium chloride, hence it does not stick also. Next point is efflorescent substance. So efflorescent substance. What are efflorescent substance? The substance when exposed to air may loss means they loss water of crystal. So they loss water of crystals when exposed to air. When you expose to these substances to air, they will lose water of crystals. So this substance is called efflorescent substance, and the phenomenon is called efflorescence. So there are so many examples like that. Hydrate Na2SO4 sodium sulfate decahydrated. So when you expose it in the air, water crystallization goes away and you will get anhydrous sodium sulfate. Similarly, FeSO4.7H2O, it also when exposed to air, it will lose water of crystals and they form anhydrous ferrous sulfate. Okay, so these are the examples of the three types of substances, that is hygroscopic substance, deliquescent substance, and the next and the efflorescent substances. An example how we have seen that some absorb water but does not form solution, they absorb water but form solution, but efflorescence are just opposite to these two, because when they expose to air they will lose moisture to form anhydrous salts. Okay, students, hope you have understood things that I have taught you now. So very important part of this chapter, water. So go through it, and in the next video class I will explain you hard water and soft water and industrial uses of these waters, and our chapter will be completed. Okay, students, hope you have enjoyed this video class. We will see you next in the next video session class. Thank you very much. Goodbye.